whatever they have done is obviously totally unacceptable, must be condemned, and we must clearly take it up wherever it is possible. Bilaterally, we have done it because it is totally unacceptable what they have done. They know very well that the most of the shippies on all these ships are Indian, and they are commercial shipping. They have nothing to do with their unilateral warmongering that is going on and attacks on innocent passage.
Uh, to me, as a layman, it indicates a design to hurt us. Do you agree?
Well, I think that we are living in a jungle Raj today. There is no rule of law, there is no international law. And as far as the United States is concerned, though it often quotes UNCLOS, United Nations Convention of the Law of Seas, it has never ratified it. So it does what it pleases because being the most powerful country or navy or army, they are able to do that.
Now the PM is going to the G7. We still designate US as a friend. Why? Could we do better? How can we make them pay for it?
Well, I think that the first thing is that if at all the United States cares for this relationship, or which we call it global comprehensive strategic partnership, in my view, these relationships are all transactional, as we have seen since the onset of Trump 2.0, that India being a friend has been hurt the most in the process. Thirdly, I think that while we are doing and continuing to engage with the United States, business as usual should not be the motto that they will continue to follow. And they will think that it doesn't matter whatever we do, we can get away with it.
Hi, this is Pratim Ranjan Bose, and you are watching Podcast with Pratim. I have with me Ambassador Anil Trigunayat. We will discuss about the US, about the sinking of Indian ships in the Gulf of Oman. Welcome to the show, sir.
Namaskar. Thank you very much.
Sir, the third Indian ship has been sunk by the US off the Oman coast in last 4 days. In the latest incident, we lost 3 sailors. Overall, we lost 7 men since February 28. I have a precise question to you. Is US targeting India? Why?
Well, I don't think that they are targeting India directly, but whatever they have done is obviously totally unacceptable, must be condemned, and we must clearly take it up wherever it is possible. Bilaterally, we have done it because it is totally unacceptable what they have done. They know very well that the most of the shippies on all these ships are Indian, and they are commercial shipping. They have nothing to do with their unilateral warmongering that is going on and attacks on innocent passage. So I think that both sides must be called out in this, and especially the Americans. And I'm glad that the Ministry of External Affairs called and strongly protested while condemning it. They also took it up at the United Nations. But these are protocol matters that have been done diplomatically. What do we do to prevent that such actions don't happen again is the key to it.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, this is not the only thing that the US has done. In the past, they sunk an Iranian ship right outside the Indian and the Sri Lankan economic zone. The choice of the location is very interesting because they could have done it in the high ocean. Coupled with the sinking of ships and whatever they are doing in the Bay of Bengal, particularly in Bangladesh, to me, as a layman, it indicates a design to hurt us. Do you agree?
Well, I think that we are living in a jungle Raj today. There is no rule of law, there is no international law. And as far as the United States is concerned, though it often quotes UNCLOS, United Nations Convention of the Law of Seas, it has never ratified it. So it does what it pleases because being the most powerful country or navy or army, they are able to do that. But that is not something that can go unchallenged, in my view. It should not be. And you are right, absolutely, they should not done it because they were themselves participating in the Milan exercises in India, which happened. And they knew very well that the Iranian ship IS Dina was essentially an unarmed ship. And even if you are in the combat zone, there are international law that applies that you will not take them down. And they killed them. There's so many people they sunk. India, of course, tried to protect the other ships. which were two of them, which were there. So they were brought to Kochi, and we tried to provide assistance to our Iranian friends who appreciated that. But United States is the last country to ever acknowledge that they have made any mistakes in that regard.
To the layman, it appeared as US is targeting the India-Iran friendship, and that they have picked up the location to send India a message. My question to you is that you said that MEA has lodged a strong protest, quote unquote, with the US after sinking of the third ship. And you said that it is not enough. Now the PM is going to the G7. We still designate US as a friend. Why? Could we do better? How can we make them pay for it?
Well, I think that the first thing is that if at all the United States cares for this relationship, or which we call it global comprehensive strategic partnership, in my view, these relationships are all transactional, as we have seen since the onset of Trump 2.0, that India being a friend has been hurt the most in the process, and at least publicly. I mean, that is something totally unacceptable in this kind of a format. Secondly, I think that Prime Minister is going for the G7, and at the G7, there should be this issue should be raised both bilaterally and also within the G7, because these are important issues. That there has to be some kind of accountability for the countries that go beyond the remit of the international law, as it is known. Thirdly, I think that while we are doing and continuing to engage with the United States, business as usual should not be the motto that they will continue to follow. And they will think that it doesn't matter whatever we do, we can get away with it. So that is, in my view, should not be that freedom they should not be allowed.
The last question is a hypothetical one. And that would lead us to the conclusion. How would have China reacted had they hit 3 ships in a row and hit a ship right off the coast, did a submarine attack right off the coast?
One thing, Pratimji, we must understand that there were two different kind of two flags, one Palau and I think another was Guinea-Bissau. There were different flags on the ship, so that's why the ownership of the ship in that sense goes to that flag. So they were not, in a technical sense, Indian ships, but they were manned by Indians because in the Hormuz right now, there are so many ships that are stuck, and I think more than 1,800 Indian origin or Indian sailors are on these ships. So therefore, casualty of India is the only country that has lost the seafarers since this war has begun. But I also, before I come to the China question, I must tell you that now is the time that India must flex its muscles in the Indian Ocean. We always call ourselves as a resident power. Now Indian Navy must be deployed. We already have 12, 13 or more ships to carry about the Indian flagged vessels. But I think wherever the Indians are there, whose safety, security is our responsibility. So therefore, I think the remit of the Indian Navy must be increased, and there should be a NOTAM issued whenever there is some kind of a thing happening. I think it is time that we confront those who illegally are killing Indians or hurting our commercial interests. That's one. Now you asked me about China. I think it has happened in one of the Chinese ships or two, but at the same time, the Chinese have also deployed their assets to escort their ships. China essentially has been able to take on the Americans quite strongly, I must say, but very diplomatically, without getting directly into confrontation with them. They have believed in some kind of a reciprocity in that matter, especially in the trade matters. And President Trump has understood the limitations of his excesses over the Chinese. So I think that they have a very different kind of an equation with them. I doubt very much that the Chinese would have gone to war over this. Because see, the thing is the technicality and the legality of the whole thing also needs to be watched. But protest and some kind of a reciprocal measure that the business as usual will not continue is absolutely called for, and we must not let it be the way they have done it and can get away with it.
You said that China has taken them diplomatically, tackled them diplomatically. Yes. Does it mean that we failed to tackle them diplomatically?
No, we have done it diplomatically also. As you know, that the Chargé affairs of the US Embassy was called, a protest was made, and we condemned officially. So, but these are the diplomatic means by which you do that. But you have to deter also somehow that such incidents don't happen, because until and unless there is some kind of a mindset that if you can get away doing by whatever you want to do, in that kind of a scenario, you will continue to face the situation again and again. And what we have seen in last 72 hours, that so many Indians had to be rescued and 3 of them were killed, clearly indicates that the Americans don't care about it.
So you want a deterrence to be put, and you are suggesting it to be raised in the G7. Any other measure?
No, as I mentioned, that we'll have to beef up our presence in the Indian Ocean, and I think we must expand our remit whenever this thing happens to save our people. That is very important should be with the Indian Navy, and so that the other side understands that they can't go scot-free by doing something which is totally illegal.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for coming, joining the show at a very short notice. And both of us are wearing the black in memory of the
Yes, we are mourning the death of our 3 sailors.
Thanks.
Thank you.